Colin?
Yeah, Cadence.
Do you like media and entertainment that's badass?
Durr.
Do you like media and entertainment that's bitchin'?
Yeah.
And how about a little bonkers?
Hills, yeah, throw that in there.
Then I think you might like this thing called the Bewatch Rewatch.
Oh, God. Are you trying to promote the podcast I'm actively doing with you right now?
A little bit. Is it working?
Cool intro. All right, well.
Let's get started.
Let's get into it, guys. So last episode, we definitely walked through you met all the characters and the basic premise. We have our elite bike cops and lots of twists and turns in this one. They are super elite bike cops, can do all kinds of things.
I kind of get eased into it's such a good smooth transition for a new series because we got the beach, we got the sun.
Yes, and they even have volleyball tournaments. I think at the end of the last episode, they had a volleyball tournament with the elite lifeguards. Well, we think they're elite lifeguards. Any team of lifeguards is elite. But you know what? Now we're on to a new team, and I already feel like I'm loving them and getting to know them and adoring them.
I mean, how could you not love TC Callaway?
All right, so this is episode 2 of Pacific Blue Season 1. And this episode, just to give a little preface, we have 3 very riveting plots going on, okay, you guys? 3 intense, well, 1 intense plot, 2 kind of subplots that involve strippers, holes on the beach, and a little bit of murder.
And let us also just real quick clarify that it's not a stripper in the normal sense of the word. They are stripper robbers.
Stripper robbers. Thieves. Well, they're actually not thieves. They're just distracting from
Oh, you're right.
Thief.
They are part of thievery.
They're part of it.
Or they are associated with thieving.
So we open up this episode with the most sultry, sexy voice. Just take a little listen.
Do you like what you see? Do you want to touch me? Do you want to explore every part of me? Make me crazy with desire? And that's it. You're in control. I'm yours. Now, take me.
Ooh. I got chills.
Oh, yeah, well, chills. Really nice. And she's talking dirty. But Well, also my favorite is TC Callaway. TC is in the front of this place where so this woman her name is Candy Love. And she is obviously, as you can tell, a sexual radio host. And she's kind of like Dr.
Radio
well, no, I was going to say, who's that one? Is it Dr. Ruth or Dr.
Oh, yeah,
Ruth,
Dr.
right?
Ruth. Yeah.
She's basically like a young, hot Dr. Ruth because she's just giving people sex advice.
The reason I laughed when you said sexual radio host, because I was thinking of someone who's just DJing normal songs, but then they make sex jokes in between, and so
in between every song, they're all that was Smash Mouth, and I'm gonna smash your mouth here at KWB TV. Just the sexual, most sexy,
exactly what I
just
thought
kind of offensive to your ears.
So, but she's a sex therapist.
Yeah, well. We think. I mean,
her name's Candy Love. I don't know if she's got a
Candy
PhD.
Love. We don't know. We don't know if she went to school.
But that's what her job is. So she gives sex and intimacy advice.
And she's at this radio station, and so you see TC in the front, and he's I don't know, it's bizarre, you guys. She's I guess in a booth, it's like a zoo. People can just walk up and watch her through a glass cube on the street, and they're all gathered around just looking at Candy Love oh my God, it's Candy Love. And TC Callaway reaches out his hand and tries to touch the glass because he's so enraptured with what she's saying. It's so bizarre.
And you guys, he's on duty. He and Chris are on their bikes, making their rounds around the city.
And they just stopped at her radio station.
Spandex and everything, and they just park in front. TC's just
Also, they can't hear what she's saying. So they don't know. They're actually just riding bikes. They can't. It's not like they're like blasting what she's saying outside in the front.
You're right.
So,
they don't have like even little walkie radios or anything.
So they actually don't know what she sounds like.
The glass.
He is feeling it. He literally reaches out, tries to grab it. So that's the you get this idea that she's just sexy. People know who she is.
My other favorite thing about this scene is that it's so random because they're all watching her through her zoo window, and then she comes outside. There's like a little huddle of fans that I guess just come to gather on the sidewalk and watch her.
I guess that's how radio. Yeah, radio's in the 90s. That's what you do.
I mean, we don't know. We weren't born yet, so we don't know how radio works. So she comes outside and she like drinks a little tiny baby cup of water. TC asks her out on a date. She says no, and then she irritatedly is like, "I gotta go back inside." And
they're like, "You came outside, bitch. What are you talking about?
Like,
you came out."
An effort. And then I'm like, "Is that just what she does? Like, visits her fans in like 30-second increments, just comes out and goes back in really quick." And she gets like a little tiny cup from like a Gatorade like stand.
I love those.
That's just
those little tiny.
Yeah, it's like a paper
like they
cup.
don't have a break room in the
She's
zoo.
in a radio station. Like she can,
Candy.
yeah.
They're treating Candy Love not very good.
No.
So yeah, that's great. And so obviously, like Cadence said, TC asks her on a date, and she's like, "No, I can't." And then she storms back in. We cut to another scene where we have this beautiful, long, luscious ponytail, a zoom up of it, and it zooms out, and it turns out that it's on this man. And this man is making a phone call to Candy Love, and you think he's calling about some sexual advice because she's a so-called sex therapist.
Up next, frequent caller, Jordan. From Santa Monica, you're on the air.
Candy, I had the phone to tell your last caller to take your advice like I did. She won't regret it.
Ooh, a testimonial from a true believer. Jordan, you're getting me excited.
At first, I was freaked to face the problem I'd been having in my relationship with my lady. But I did exactly what you said. I took charge, was forceful, and got rid of the obstacle that was in our way. I feel great. Now there's nothing to stop me from having the woman I love.
So he's like, I finally got the impediment out of my way. I can finally have the woman I love. And I did exactly what you said. I was forceful. And she's like, ooh,
good job,
really getting me going.
Yeah, you did a good job listening to me.
And so he hangs up and the camera pans out. And guess what?
Dead body in a pool.
Yep, standing in front of a pool with a dead body in it.
Oh, I thought you were going to say standing in the pool, 100% dead body. Dead body floating at the bottom of a pool. And so you're like, oh, he was using, what's that term?
Metaphor?
Code words.
Oh,
metaphors. Yeah, metaphor,
wasn't
code words.
necessarily a metaphor. I don't
An
know.
analogy? I don't know. Yeah, he was using code words, basically. He killed somebody and was trying to say it.
Code.
We just don't know how to do it.
I don't know why my brain's not thinking of that.
So that kind of starts it, and that's where we're like, oh, shit. Okay,
yeah, there's
some
a
murder
mystery
is going down. So somewhere else that day in Newport Beach.
Just in Newport Beach.
Just hanging out. There is what appears to be a surf shop, and it is occupied by toothless middle-aged men in tank tops. Looks like primarily, toothless middle-aged men in tank tops. I think that's the only people that are at this surf store.
There's only like two fashions in this place. They are oversized tank tops or oversized button-ups. It's such a weird
Oh my God, the 90s.
choice.
Love it. So they're all looking around, buying a surfboard, and these two beautiful women walk in, and one straight up looks like Topanga from Boy Meets World. I literally thought it was Topanga. And they're just so sexy, and they put a little boombox down, and they start, I don't know if you want to call it dancing, but they kind of start twitching and moving very strange.
Awkward.
And all the toothless men are like, oh, yeah. And there's no females in this. Females do not shop at this store.
Only men are in surf shops ever.
And of course, because men are like stupid, they instantly are just like, oh, babes, doing weird twitch dancing.
Yeah, not one of the men is like, are you okay? Do you need help? Are you having a mental breakdown? They just stand there and watch these women just take their clothes off just in the middle of the store.
Well, maybe they're just so used to hired strippers coming in. You go to a coffee shop. I go to Starbucks, and all of a sudden it's like Stripper Tuesday at Starbucks. Like you just
also the thing about the Stripper Tuesday. Sorry, that just made me
right? Could you just imagine
Tuesday.
you go to a restaurant or you're like shopping at a clothing store and the strippers come in and start I want to say
Super
they're
Tuesday.
exotic dancers, but there's nothing exotic about the way they're dancing. It's bizarre. And also their clothes, but they're holding their breasts. So it's like, what's the point?
Yeah, that's what I was going to say.
What's the point of
is
this?
That, like, they take off their tops. Well, also, the way they move is not sensual, like Colin said, in any way, shape, or form.
Not at all,
But then
guys.
they also take off their tops, and then they just cover themselves back up with their arms and hands, and then just continue to twitch. And so it's like, well,
why'd you take off your top? Just wear a smaller top. And
like
wear those little
probably showing more skin with the bikini top
with the bikini top on, with then they're hugging like really embarrassed looking. But we notice in the background, all these toothless middle-aged men are so
distracted,
enraptured by these two females dancing that there's a guy in the back that literally sneaks up, opens the cash register,
and also
takes
this is in
all
broad
the
daylight.
money.
This is in broad daylight.
This is like noon on a Tuesday. Sun is out. And the part about it is the cashier is like right next to the cash register, but he's just so like, "Ooh, women," that the guy just opens
covered boobs are that distracting.
So distracting. So he takes all the money. So instantly we're like, okay, we got a stripper robbery gang going on here, which is kind of a brilliant idea if you think about it.
Some criminals were born for the job, and this guy was freaking born for this job.
So he takes it. He takes all the money. The strippers put on their bikinis, and they just leave. None the wiser. Everybody's just like, that was cool. Nobody asked any questions. They go back to shopping for surfboards.
It's
I don't
very
know.
important. In the beginning, you sort of get the idea that they're in on it, and then you realize they're not. That they just, all they know is they've been asked to go in, take off their clothes, and leave. That's it.
Okay,
That's
you
all
are
they
giving
know.
away a lot because they find that out. Let's just say these things are happening quite frequently, broad daylight in Newport Beach. So something fishy is going on.
So our next scene is back at the house with the pool.
After stripper date.
After the stripper robber, Strawber, we get back to the house where there's a dead guy floating in the pool. And at this point, the police are starting to descend because the pool guy who came to clean the pool found the body and immediately phoned it in. And guess what? When you're a bike cop making the rounds, you're the first on the scene
You got a
because this house
bike.
is on the beach. So you are there.
You
don't
got a
have to
bike.
wait
You don't
traffic.
have no traffic. And we all know LA traffic. That's bizarre. No way. Get your bike, get on that pier, go right to the house. You're on the scene.
What do we have?
Male Caucasian, mid-30s, name's Morty Everhart, VP at a New York-based communications company. They keep this house for business trips.
Looks like the trip's over now.
Pool guy called it in. We were first on scene and called homicide.
Good work, guys.
So obviously TC and Chris were already at the scene investigating, and then the four-wheel cops ride up.
Bart Browning, haven't they pensioned you out yet?
Well, if they did that, it would only leave you meter maids to secure crime scenes.
Meter maids. My nightmare comes true.
I heard you gave up being a detective to start some community relations gimmick with cops popping wheelies. What a joke.
Yeah, it's a joke. You know what the punchline is, Bart? Our crime rate's at 27%.
And we know that there is a hardcore discrimination between the two-wheeled cops, the bike cops, and
We've
the four-wheeled
explored
cops.
this class warfare between
Class
the car and the
warfare.
bikes.
And there's still this tension. Nobody cares that there's a dead guy in the pool. They're just
Yeah,
trying
never
to like
mind
insult
that
each
this is
other.
a homicide.
And
Never
this is
mind.
Katie, tell them the best joke that we just saw. It was so funny.
So TC tries to introduce himself to the four-wheel detective, and he's like,
I'm Officer Callaway. My friends call me TC. The guy was murdered.
TC. Oh, that must stand for tricycle.
"That's short for tricycle."
So stupid. Tricycles were a
Stupid.
word.
Does not make any sense.
It was a
And
90s
B,
burn. The four-wheel
You
cop
got a
got
dead
you.
body right here, and that's your main concern. And then he also goes on to make a joke about them popping wheelies, and I'm like, can we
The whole thing, you guys,
on the
is that
dead body in the
Yeah,
pool?
work
Please?
together. There's someone that's been murdered in a pool, and all you can do is like insult each other. But actually, TC and Chris are not insulting the four-wheel cops. It's more like the four-wheel cops.
No.
And then he's like,
Look and learn. The guy tied one on. Stumbled heading into the house, falling into the pool. It's an accident. I've seen it happen 1,000 times.
and TC's like, oh, I do know one thing.
Oh, jeez, and I'm sorry to get you down here, Detective. Your whole theory makes sense. Oh, except for this. I guess after he hit himself in the head with this pipe and died, he threw it in the bushes and jumped in the pool.
And he pulls out this giant rod from the bushes, and he's like, this is the murder weapon. And I'm like, TC, were you waiting for that? Were you waiting for that grand reveal?
Never mind that they've been there gathering evidence for like an hour, and that should be already bagged and tagged. Like,
Also,
just leave it. I've got
did you find
great
it? And
idea.
then did you find it, TC, and then put it back under the bush? He's like,
Someone's
oh,
like,
this is going to be a
and
good
he's like,
reveal
leave it there.
later. Yeah, this is going to be
When
a
the
good reveal
four-wheelies
later.
get here, it's going to be amazing. They're going to look like idiots.
Chris, you put that down, leave it there. I've got the best plan for a surprise. So obviously the 4 cops are like, oh, they kind of take him a little more seriously. And they're like, okay, I guess you did some good investigating. But reluctantly.
Because like they're like, yeah, whatever. But that was just luck. It was just pure luck.
No two-wheel bike cop can find the murder weapon in a bush.
That's not the way it works, my friend. Only 4-wheelers, and we know that. We leave this real tense mystery in the pool because we got to get back to
Strippergate.
the surf shop.
And what is it, Del Toro and Corey?
Yeah, so Del Toro and Corey are trying to take statements, and like we're saying, the guys are utterly freaking helpless.
They were so distracted by forearm over areola that they could not do it.
I'd say the brunette was 34, 35, no, 36, double D. Blue eyes, about 5'7", 110 pounds. The blonde had light green eyes, was 5'8", and about 112 pounds, and she was about a 34C cup.
A 34C and a 36?
Double D.
Is that all you can tell us?
Sorry.
This is pathetic. Every man in here can tell us anything we want to know about these women, right down to how many freckles they had on their fannies. But not a single one of you can tell us what the guy with the gun looked like.
Anyone?
Blonde was natural, if that helps.
Oh.
So they're like, I don't know, maybe they're double D. The other one was definitely a C cup, and if it helps, she was all natural. And it's like, no, it doesn't help. It doesn't help.
Really kind of almost like borderline
So gross.
It's really gross. Like,
No, it was not borderline. It was straight up gross.
I get being like, oh, well, for like height, you're like, oh, she was like maybe 5'4", but to be like, oh yeah, her thighs were, a quarter and they could wrap around me, and she had no waist.
I want to know what a quarter thigh is.
I don't know what I say. I have no idea. I think I was trying to think thigh gap. Obviously, I would be zero help describing to anybody.
We're giving so much shit to these guys, but you are not doing
her thighs were about a quarter, and her midsection was around on that roll of her fifth, and they're just like, what are you talking about? But yes, it's so gross how they describe it. And so they start to think, Corey and Del Toro, being the smart bike cops that they are, they're like, you know what? This sounds a little too fishy to be just a random robbery.
If the strippers left without taking anything, then how is stuff missing? They are essentially saying in this moment, like, all they did was come in, strip, and then leave. So they didn't leave with anything, right? But then the guys in the shop are so distracted that they don't see the robber come in the back. Yeah. So then there's stuff missing.
Classic
so they're like, how can stuff be missing, but they didn't take anything at the same time? It's a conundrum.
Oh,
see what I'm saying?
And for police, I'm pretty sure that's a real easy detective work there. But Del Toro and Corey, that took them a minute. Poor little guys.
All right. So elsewhere in Newport Beach, Landia, we see Palermo and Elvis. And also they're in a lifeguard tower, which feels a little bit intrusive to me. Like maybe they're crossing some boundaries.
Yeah, like they're bike cops, so they can just take over an elite lifeguard team's lifeguard point at any point. But it kind of looks like an abandoned lifeguard tower. And as we mentioned before, earlier in the episode, Elvis fell in this hole just randomly on the beach, and he pops his little baby head out, and he's like, where did this hole come from? So now we're revisiting that with Palermo and Elvis. They're sitting on the lifeguard tower, and they're real. And okay, these aren't just your run-of-the-mill circular holes, okay? Open your mind, wake up, think outside the box. These are like triangular holes. So it adds this whole nother mystery of like, why are these triangular holes here? And Palermo's telling him, like, we fill them in for safety, and then they always show up the next morning. And so it's like, woo, like Elvis, because he's quirky, automatically starts thinking something's going on.
No tracks leading to or from the holes. No one saw or heard anything.
Where the hell they come from?
This is also one of my favorite moments because Palermo says,
Beats the hell out of me.
and Elvis says,
As my hell has been beaten out of me as well.
and he thinks it's so charming. The show makes a very clear play that they want to bring an extraterrestrial spin on this because at the end of this conversation, you get that very typical, like,
Oh yeah, they do the real
like
cheesy
UFO
UFO music and Elvis's little eyes, and because he's quirky and different, you know he believes in UFOs because only people who are
Right.
quirky, weird, and crazy believe in aliens and UFOs.
All right, so we head back to the precinct where there is a very heated turf war happening because one of the four-wheeler cops who's part of this murder
How
investigation
dare he?
has taken a desk. And he is so rude because TC is like,
Candy loving the victim. Is she involved in this thing?
Nope. Dead guy was a business acquaintance. Strictly coincidence. Maybe it was a robbery.
Wasn't robbery. Nothing was missing. I think it's murder straight down the line.
listen, you're being silly. As we've already discussed from the crime scene, this is clearly murder.
Murder.
I found the magic pipe in the bushes.
I pulled it out of nowhere because I was waiting for the
Clearly.
perfect moment. We know this is murder.
Right, and the detective should just be like, okay, well, let's work together to figure this out. Instead, he's like,
Oh, great. Now I got Columbo with handlebars tossing theories. Don't you have some peddling to do?
Hey, so while you're on my turf, you'll treat my officers with respect. He's only trying to help.
You want to help? Go tighten your spokes.
he just starts rabidly insulting the fact that these guys ride bikes all day, and then
It's
they
so
make it
hilarious. Just the biggest
all-
bike cut downs, like the biggest bike burns you could do.
Yes, bike burn.
switch gears from homicide to suicide, buddy. Like just the worst.
so intense. And then they've made all the four-wheeler cops complete pallid skin. It's real bad. They look like they've just been in a bunker somewhere.
They have what is that pirate disease where they tell you to
Oh,
scurvy?
scurvy.
They've got scurvy. They're just so unhealthy because they ride in freaking four-wheel cars.
So at this point, it becomes clear that there's some sort of pattern evolving. And so TC decides that he's going to he's going to make the sacrifice to go to
Mhm.
Candy's. He really doesn't want to see her again. He's not wildly attracted to her or anything. And he's going to retrieve the call logs and the sweet cassette tapes that are an audio record of all the callers.
Yes,
That's
because if you don't remember from the beginning, where the beautiful ponytail-haired guy, after he kills him, he calls Candy Love's show. So that's where they make the connection, because they're like, this guy called your show right after this happened. Candy Love, you're involved. That's when TC goes down and gets the tapes.
So when they get the tapes and take them back to precinct, which again they sacrifice by listening to this woman with a beautiful, sultry, sexy voice.
Oh my God,
say
you guys.
All of her sex fantasies for 12 to 16 hours.
And she doesn't, it's not like sex therapy. It is not. We have to be crystal clear. It is a
Yes,
girl.
it's
a
supposed to be
woman.
sex
It's supposed to be
therapy.
sex therapy like Dr. Ruth, but it is just a woman being like, yes, and that makes me super wet. And
It really
nothing
is.
makes sense. It's really, really gross. She's just basically like those 1-800 find a
Yes.
friend, the late night.
Yes.
That's what she is. She's a late night call
And
the
if you are a
teens.
phone sex operator, more power to you, whatever. But they're really confusing what two different people
Yes.
do for professions.
Yes, there is a sex therapist and then there is a phone sex operator. And she
Yes,
is
and
obviously a phone sex operator that lives in a glass
I was
box.
going to say they have their wires crossed, if you know what I mean. So they're sitting there listening to all of these tapes, and they notice that this guy Jordan has been calling, and Jordan's the guy with the ponytail, repeatedly. And Chris is like,
Makes sense. The one with the sultry, seductive, flirtatious voice, talking to all the lonely guys, making them feel like the only man in the world.
Only this time, she turned on the wrong guy.
oh, yeah, well, I can see why he's mad. She's beautiful and sultry, and she makes him feel like the only guy in the world. Of course he's angry. And I'm like, Chris,
Yeah.
This is Candy Love's job. Don't victim shame her. Nobody deserves to have everyone they come in contact with be shot dead.
Well, also, Chris is a little bit maybe jealous of Candy Love because she sees the way TC, TC's literally groping the glass bar that she's staying in, that she's trapped in. So he's like groping it. So she's obviously like a little bit like, ugh, this girl, I know these types. And so she's a little bit like defensive and kind of angry about it.
So at this point, they realize that regardless of Candy Love's connection to the men in her life, Jordan, the caller who's obsessed with her, is perceiving any man in Candy's life as a threat.
Exactly.
You think Candy's in danger?
I don't know. But if he's eliminating all the obstacles that stand in his way, then any man in her life could be in danger.
But Morty Eberhart wasn't the man in her life. He was just a business acquaintance.
Maybe he saw him having dinner together. And if he's that obsessed, then he could see it as a threat.
Candy's having drinks with her brother.
Let's roll.
Call Brownie. We'll radio back. Got it, Chris?
And so at that moment, they realize that Candy is on the pier having lunch with her brother. And Jordan doesn't know it's her brother, right? All he sees is a man sitting with Candy Love, whom he is obsessed with, or with whom he is obsessed.
He's the guy, the ponytail guy, whose name is, what did you say? Jordan. He's like perceiving everything Candy Loves does as like she wants him so bad, and they belong together.
At first, they don't make the connection because the man who dies in the beginning was just a guy that she had dinner with once. And then he's threatening this other guy who wants to give her a radio syndication. So at first they think that, like, oh, he's attacking all of her lovers. And then they realize, oh, no, it's just any man because he doesn't understand, like, her relationship with them. So, like you said, at that moment...
I think that was really complicated for me. We are very much overcomplicating it. There's a guy shooting everyone she's in contact with. Man.
So it's in the middle of the day. She's having lunch with her brother on the pier. And that's, like we said, the cops realize that at that moment she's having lunch and that guy, her brother, is most likely in danger. So this is the pinnacle of this episode. Well, no, it's one of the pinnacles. Because Jordan's sitting in a car in broad daylight with a massive sniper rifle.
Yes.
Like one of those little...
Scopey, like the full the scopes. I think it's called a scope. And he's got this huge rifle, sweet ponytail again. He really is good at doing those ponytails. He wakes up and he's like, I'm going to snipe somebody, but first my hair got to look really good. First, let me get this tight pony.
You can't have your hair getting in that
That's
scuffle,
true. If it blows. Yeah, that's true. You've got to have a tight pony.
At this moment, he gets out of the car, standing in broad daylight, aims at the table where Candy Love is, and TC rides his bike into the middle of the outdoor restaurant, pops a wheelie. As he is flying through the air, he simultaneously grabs Candy Love and her brother with each arm, and then his bike goes flying without him, and he makes them hit the ground. And so Jordan is not able to shoot at them, and Jordan is pissed.
The bikes in this show are basically like extensions of their appendages. Like they use them as like we have arms and legs, and we use our fingers to grab things. These bike cops are so great at what they do that their bikes are like, they're part of them. And then Jordan, who's trying to snipe him, is like, damn that bike cop, TC. He doesn't really do that, but he's mad.
And not one person's like, hey, that guy with the sniper rifles pulling out the parking lot.
That's what I was just about to say. Like, nobody around is like, oh, there's a really mysterious looking guy. Because he's sitting there for a while. He's got to make the shot. Nobody's trying to stop him. No one in the background is like, oh, gun violence. Like, nothing. They're just walking by. It is midday. Like, we've learned all these crimes take place. Always midday, never at night.
Bright daylight. The way that this scene ends is that the only solution that Palermo can think of, because Palermo and TC have ridden to the restaurant together, and as we said, TC's tackled them to the ground. Palermo takes the other route, which is when he sees Jordan getting into the car to drive away, his solution is, I'm gonna ride my bike straight towards the oncoming car and play a game of chicken with Jordan. And
makes
see
sense.
who chickens out first. Well, guys, it's gonna be Palermo because he's on a bike. So, like, they're riding directly towards each other. And at some point, Palermo's like, yeah, this is a car. What was I thinking?
Yeah, like, that was really stupid for me to think I could play chicken with this guy. And Jordan, the bad guy in the car, doesn't even think twice. He's like, I'm gonna hit this dude.
plan. She's not at all worried that this bike is going to somehow slow him down. So Palermo biffs it, and they have to go back to the precinct with their tail between their legs. I mean, yeah, essentially TC saved their lives, but really, it was kind of a shit show.
So back at the precinct, we've all come together. 4-wheelers, 2-wheelers, everybody. And they now have Candy Love and her brother. And they're like, look, this is the connection. We've made this connection. Jordan is obsessed with you. Any man that's around you, he's going to try to shoot and kill. And she's like, okay, that's shocking news, but this is the biz. This is what I signed up for as a sex therapist operator.
And I am 100% on board for whatever your plan happens to be. So at that point, we are back at TC's apartment. Chris is getting ready to get in the shower. TC has already exited the shower. TC is his normal shiny self.
Mm-hmm. And the reason Chris is at TC's house is because, like we said, her air conditioning broke. And yes, they're all just in towels, glistening towel bodies.
And at one point, Chris goes to change out of her clothes to get in the shower, and TC is spying on her, not respecting her boundaries at all.
Okay,
Don't let someone to stay with you.
I agree, but she also left the door wide open and she's changing in front of a mirror. Like, I see where you're coming from, but also, if someone invites me to sleep over, I'm not going to, like, strip down into my underwear with all the doors open in front of a mirror.
Okay, but TC
I'd be like,
does not look.
Well, I mean, you just got to be...
You can use some self-control.
That's
Maybe
true.
She thinks she can trust him.
That's true, but you got to be aware of your surroundings. You just can't sludductively.
Are you saying that she's a slut? Are you implying?
Seductively. You can't just, like, seductively slow change in front of a mirror with all bedroom windows open. That's all I'm saying.
So, anyway, she's telling TC, like, I mean, all she's complaining because it's so hot, and he's like,
What do you say we order out?
Sure. What do you want?
I'll just order something.
Good. Order something cold.
And, like, what do you order cold for dinner, by the way?
which I also have
Sushi?
tried.
I mean,
Are you
maybe
like order
sushi?
popsicle? I'm not sure.
Like, because she is. Order something cold. It's so hot. And I guess you can order ice cream. I don't know.
And so while he's lounging in his towel trying to figure out what he's going to do for takeout, then there's a knock at the door, and guess who it is?
Candy Love.
It's Candy Love.
She shows up.
That's the exact same moment. Chris comes out of the shower, and she's like,
TC, you used up all the hot water.
were you not just complaining about how hot it was and how you wanted something cold for dinner? Why on earth are you trying to take a scalding hot shower? I don't understand your logic, Miss Chris.
So Candy Love
Candy
instantly,
threatened.
yeah, she instantly is like,
I'm sorry. I didn't mean to interrupt anything.
This? Well, this isn't anything. No, I mean, we're not.
No, I'm just camping out at TC's while my air conditioner's getting fixed, that's all. Are you sure there's nothing between you two? I've seen the way you look at each other.
okay, they have something going on. And you got to keep in mind, she's a sex therapist, so her little bells are going off. But of course, whenever she, like, even kind of tiptoes around the subject, they're both like,
Us? No.
him? Me? Thus? No. We're just work together, that whole thing, you know. But it's clear that TC and Chris are developing, like, a little bit of a romance.
But TC is also feeling that way about Candy Love because, hello, she has a sultry, seductive voice. How
Oh,
could
that's
he
true.
not?
He's a man torn between two beautiful women. They're both very different girls, and he just doesn't know.
At that point, he and Candy Love go for a quick walk on the beach, and he's like,
Would you be willing to help us get this guy off the street?
As long as no one gets hurt, I'm willing to do anything.
listen, I don't want to ask you to do anything that's dangerous, but the best thing we can do, the best plan we have at this moment is to lure Jordan out of hiding by you being seen with me in a public place.
Mhm,
We will have a
mhm.
whole team on it. All the detectives will be listening in. We will have earpieces. We will have
Mhm.
microphones. They'll listen to everything. And as soon as Jordan shows up, they'll catch him. And she says, I'll do it. Like, I feel like I'm a prisoner in my own life, and I'm more than willing to do it, even if it's a little bit scary.
To save lives of other people. I'll do it. The next day is the sting operation, and they've got the whole precinct, all these like undercover cops everywhere, and they've set up like a date scenario. So TC and Candy Love are on this beautiful blanket on the beach, drinking champagne, eating strawberries. They're really playing it up for the camera, if you know what I mean. They want
Right.
Jordan, the bad guy, to for sure think they're on a date.
The thing that I love about this moment, I mean, there's lots of really weird things about this, like fake/real date that they're on.
Mhm.
But Candy says,
Being a DJ is like being a gypsy. You're never in one town for too long.
Being a sex therapist radio host is like being a gypsy. You're never in one place for very long.
I'm thinking,
what?
Yeah, you are.
Talking about?
You've established a career. Like, people wait outside your office.
Does an angry mom chase you out of town because you're a sex therapist?
I know, I'm thinking to myself,
I do not understand that at all.
Yeah, you've been there for a while. You're pretty established in LA as a sex therapist, so
Like
she doesn't really
you
know.
misunderstood the career when you got started.
She doesn't really
on a
know.
lot of levels.
So Jordan, bad guy with ponytail, comes up, and sure enough, he's got like an arsenal of guns. He's full on with the scope, like totally looking at them, ready to strike at any moment, but like none of the police can find him. And I'm like, you guys were expecting this to happen.
He's like standing in a parking lot
You
at
guys,
the beach.
broad daylight in a parking lot.
They set up a sting specifically for this reason.
And they can't find
they're
him.
Like,
They're
where
just like,
could he possibly be?
Yeah, because the whole time they're like, any sign of him, and all the cops are talking on their walkie-talkie, like, nope, he might not be out here today. Like the whole thing, but he's clearly, they're just doing a really bad job. Sorry, cops, doing a bad job. And TC is having this date, and he decides that he's going to take this opportunity to turn off both their mics so no one can hear them. And he's going to start asking questions about this female in his life that he is becoming more and more attracted to.
There's this woman I know. I see her when I'm working. She intrigues me, but I'm torn. I know I shouldn't get involved with her because we sort of work together, but I can't lie to myself about the feelings I have whenever I'm around her. The desires, the temptations. And I wonder what she feels.
She probably looks at you while you're working. Wonders what you'd be like off the clock. What you like when no one else is around. She wonders what it would feel like to press her lips against yours.
That's funny. He wonders the same thing.
And you're thinking, is this Chris, his partner, or is this Candy Love? It's kind of vague. It's kind of like making you feel like, well, which one is it? Then he plants a big O smooch on Candy Love.
So...
Yeah, then he plants a big O smoocher on Candy Love, really playing it up. And it kind of leaves you thinking, like, what is all this going on?
Because Chris is, when he turns his mic off so that the other officers can't hear him, like Chris goes into like full like panic mode because she's worried about his life. She's like, what are they talking about? And is he talking to her about his feelings? You can tell that there's a little bit of jealousy happening.
Oh, for shosh. Girl, you already had so much to prove. Like, let's just not be falling in love with our teammate right away.
Just right away, just like take your time.
Just take your time. Have a good, like, I know he's got a fantastic oiled body, but like, just take your time, establish yourself, finish your bike training. Finish darting in and out between those cones.
Focus on those cones.
And then maybe get into this. But obviously she can't do it. He's just too irresistible.
So back on the beach that night after it gets dark, just a brief touchback on the beach holes because
oh, bring us back to those holes. I totally forgot about that.
The night has fallen. Palermo's making the rounds and he sees a light coming from one of those holes and he's like, huh, what's happening? So he looks down in that hole and
Elvis, what the hell are you doing?
I'm making contact. This is whale singing, the intergalactical music of love. I learned that from Star Trek number 4.
Elvis, it's hot. People are crazy. Go home.
Elvis, phone home. Phone home, Elvis.
Elvis holding a sign saying welcome aliens, and
it's covered in Christmas lights.
And so Palermo's like, what the hell are you doing? And he's like, I've been thinking about this. I know what's going on. It's aliens.
They're coming to get me.
They're coming to get me. They've been digging these holes at night. We keep filling them in, and then they magically show up the next morning. Like, it has to be aliens. Like, there's no like footprints in and out. He's going through all these scenarios, and then you start thinking like, oh shit, it could be aliens. There's no footprints. There's none of this. They come at night. Weird. Oh, we also have to... There's just so many things going on. We also have to touch back briefly on stripper robbers.
All right, stripper robbers, because poor Corey and Del Toro are stuck on stripper robber patrol.
They're still looking for those stripper robbers, and they've
spent this whole episode visiting every strip club in the entire city.
Trying to figure out these strippers.
Because they have tracked down enough to know that this guy is ordering strippers and he's paying for them with money orders and then having them like come out to the location. So they're like backtracking these money orders because he's ordering strippers from different places every single time. And so they show up at a strip club after they've already looked everywhere. The very last strip club that they find, they run into one of the women who has worked one of these stripper robbers, and they bring her in for questioning.
Look, we didn't know the guy was going to rob the place. Well, that's the honest truth. You see, sometimes to pick up extra cash, Twyla and me'll dance freelance for parties and stuff.
And how did you end up freelancing at the pool hall?
Well, the agency told us it was a birthday surprise. And then while we're up there dancing, somebody yells out he's robbing the place. We seen the gun and got out of there.
And you ran because you were accomplices.
Girls like me, we don't have the greatest reputations. We just didn't think you'd believe the truth.
But we'd believe you a whole lot more if you gave us a description of the robber.
Well, I never saw him. And he sent a cashier's check to the agency for the dance. Oh, but he tipped real good.
I think she's telling the truth.
Okay, well then we'll contact all the stripper services, and next time they order 2 girls for a birthday surprise, we'll be there.
Good.
And they realize, like, you know what? The strippers, they don't know anything. They're just hired to do a job. They show up, they do it, and they have no association. They don't even know who the guy is.
Even though it's a very strange
have a better
job.
way to track him down.
Very strange job. If I got a call to show up at a surf shop in the middle of the day and strip for just anyone in there, and you have to bring your own equipment?
I don't know. Make that cheddar just however.
I guess you're right. I guess I wouldn't ask any questions. Done. So yes, we learned that they have nothing to do with it, and so this guy is just using them as a distraction to rob everything. So there's another setup sting operation going on to catch this guy.
All right. So at this point, they have failed to lure Jordan or to spot him on a bright, open, middle of the day beach, whatever.
They really did a good
miserably
job.
at their jobs.
Yeah, I mean, anyone could have seen that from a mile away, but
and at this point, Candy Love's like, I'm just going to take this into my own hands. I'm the only one who can solve this problem. You guys are clearly incompetent and too worried about your 2-wheel and 4-wheel feud, so don't worry about it. I'll take care of it myself.
Strong woman.
And she decides to basically announce over the airwaves that she's going to be having lunch at this time at this place, and she wants Jordan to meet her there.
Yeah,
so
she's luring bad guy, and she's doing this on her own accord, you guys. She's doing it without the help. Like, she didn't tell them this. She's just secretly doing it behind their back. So the cops are like...
She thinks that she can soothsay and just use the right words and just talk sweetly to him, and it's not going to be
He'll
a
show
problem.
up, and yeah, she just milks him.
Huh? What? What's that?
I was thinking of like milk him for information. Like she's gonna like sweet her sweet mama milk is gonna. I don't know where I was going with that. I was thinking milk him for information, but anyway, she's going to milk him.
All right, so he shows up.
Sorry I'm late. Get hung up with a phone call. Of course, you know more about that than me.
Because he's a sucker and wants to be with her. He tries to kidnap her. At that very moment, who comes flying around the corner but Chris and TC? So he like picks her up and he like takes her hostage with a gun, and he's like walking her in the middle of broad daylight, mind you, on the boardwalk in Newport Beach.
There's
with
thousands
a gun.
Of people around. Thousands.
And at that moment, TC comes running around the corner, and he does the second best move in this entire episode.
Wait, can I describe it? Because you got to describe first one. So TC comes around. He leaps up on the hood of a car because bad guy Jordan is about to put Candy Love in the car. So he's in this car. Leaps up on the hood, uses his front wheel to then knock the gun out of Jordan's hand and and Jordan falls down. He then jumps off the hood, lands on his bike, gets off, and saves the day. It is just as amazing as you could possibly think.
If you've never seen a guy knock a gun out of someone's hand with a bike wheel, you are not living. And you have not lived.
You have not lived. And the bike is on the hood of a car. It's not on the ground. He's like already above him, and then and he kind of like knocks him out too. The gun and his face like falls down.
Yeah, the whole thing, because he's got the momentum of the bike and the momentum of his body going.
Have you seen a 4-wheel cop do that? Have you seen a cop do that? Have you seen a...
Well, I was just going to say, who comes running to the scene way too late? Oh, just the 4-wheel cop.
Yeah.
Just the four-wheel
Can you do
cop.
that in a car, Mr. Four-wheel, out-of-shape four-wheeler with scurvy? Can you jump up on a hood and use your steering wheel? I don't think so.
Exactly.
I don't think so.
So at the very end, the four-wheel cop gives him like the tiniest bit of credit.
Bad enough, I gotta go back to Metro and tell him that you saved my life, but then you gotta go and catch this guy on a bike?
Just doing my job.
You do it pretty good, even if you do it on 2 wheels.
Ugh.
And then he's like, bye.
Fucking four-wheel cop. So they catch
Why
the guy.
are they so mean? I don't get it.
I don't know. So obviously Candy Love is saved. They kind of reprimand her like, why did you do that? You could have been so killed. And she was like, I wanted to save lives because I'm a traveling sex gypsy. And they're like, okay, whatever. So
that's what you do when you're a
that's what
traveling
you
sex
do.
gypsy.
And so they all go back to the precinct and everyone's tired. And finally, Corey.
Tell me more. Tell me more about how they decompress from this.
They go have a cup of tea. They're talking it out, expressing their feelings. They turn on Oprah.
Walk. They're not walking that fast. They're walking like probably like mid speed, but they can't go too fast because they're very tired. They're really worn out. So they're just sort of like casually walking back to the precinct. They're talking about their day.
You are such a bitch. I can't do anything right. I feel like Jordan right now, and I want to scope you out with a. So they're relaxing. They're relaxing. Oh God, shut up! You're just ruining my concentration. I'm trying to tell a story. Everyone's on the edge of their seat to find out what happens right now.
I'm so sure they're like, did they sit down at the precinct or did they stay standing? Tell us more.
No, they're worrying about what the hell happened with the strippers, the stripper robbers.
True.
And I'm sure if you're like me, you're wondering what's going on with them holes. So I'm just trying
That's all I care about.
That's all I care about is what happened with those holes. So they're tired. Chris is like, I'm going to go home. And they go, wait, Corey and Palermo, or Corey and Del Toro.
Hey, Chris. Hey, guys, what's shaking?
Funny you should ask that.
Yeah, I mean, if you're not busy this afternoon, we could really use your help at 2 o'clock.
What do I have to do?
And they're like, come with us. So they have her stage as a stripper. They go to a place.
Corey's also staged as the stripper. Chris is staged as a stripper. And then the men are staged as like patrons.
Oh, yeah, Corey and Chris, the hot cop strippers,
at.
and they're all as patrons. I just repeated exactly what you said. You're right. I do that so much, you guys. I'm sorry. I just repeat what Caden says like over and over. Like we just really drill it into your head.
You're like my echo.
I know. You're all like, they're all described as, yes, they're all patrons. And they're dancing. They're dancing so good. Like, I'm just a hype guy at this point. Just hype you on. Anyway, a guy comes in to rob the store. And should you know, they all turn around, everyone with guns. And they say, actually, don't think about it, buddy.
No. I mean, you gotta go back to the fact that, so Corey and Chris are undercover as strippers.
Yeah, we said that.
Right. But when they come in, they actually go into character. It's not like they just come in with a gun. They go in there and start stripping as if they are doing what the strippers have been doing this whole time to distract the whole thing from the robbery. So
yeah.
they literally start stripping and dancing, and all the men are like, yes, this is awesome. And the bad guy comes in to do his thing where he robs guess who's behind the bar? Oh, it's Anthony Palermo. Thank you very much.
Captain Palermo.
He just tried to rob Captain Palermo, and at that moment, the striptease stops.
Hey, boys, you forgot something. Yeah, what's that?
You're under arrest.
And all the men pull their guns because they've got the bad guy.
And he has that like, huh? Because I guess it's just so funny that
I'm caught.
I kind of like the idea of using strippers to distract, but it's so funny that it works so effectively. Like nobody can even it's like this guy is invisible because nobody can concentrate on anything but like these awkward strippers. And it's a foolproof plan. Like it's amazing. Because he walks in with a gun. It's not even like he's hiding it. He has a gun full sight. He's crouching. It's like crouching full like and he's just going through the whole restaurant, wherever he's at the bar, and he just takes all the money. It just kills me how this works.
Not a soul sees it.
Not a soul sees it. They see damn titties though, and that's all they care about. And Corey and Chris did get really into it. Like they kind of almost were like, "Oh, I can't believe I have to do this," but they were like,
"Oh, as soon as they had the chance, they went for it."
I mean, I would if someone was like, "Hey, act like a stripper, like go undercover to strip club," and if I would do it in a heartbeat. I'd have so much fun.
Oh yeah, when I'd be J-Lo in Hustlers in a heartbeat.
Oh, I didn't see it. Was it good?
Oh, it was so good. And she's so sexy, and she's like 50 years old, and she's rocking it.
Oh my God, I do want to watch that movie.
She's a
But I would
hero.
love it. I would have the like taking off my clothes and dancing. I'd be really bad at it, but I would be giving it my all.
You know what? Speaking of stripping, I just want to share with you guys. I just thought of this just now, but I used to dance burlesque, and I had my very, very first show ever.
You guys, I just thought about this. I used to be a stripper. You guys, this is so weird that we're talking about this because I used to be a stripper actually that went and did undercover robberies.
What I was gonna say was the only person who came to see my show was Colin.
Oh,
And-
Katie, come on. We can't say that to people. You guys. It's not what it... It's not what it...
Like, burlesque is a different vibe, but whatever. It's a
Yes,
still
it was
stripping.
not stripping. It's like fun and interactive, and there was lots of people. She obviously didn't get nude, but I was there to support my sister. So yes, it was
It
very
was so
strange
sweet,
that
'cause
I
you were the
went.
only person that did, and I thought it was very sweet. And I didn't even think twice about it until you told me that your friends are like, wait.
You went to see your sister strip. And I'm like, no, it was a burlesque dance. She was wearing fishnets. It's all different. And I flew from San Francisco to Phoenix at the
Yes.
time to do it. And I had a great time.
It was so
me
fun.
and Jed, I was like throwing money and I was obviously drinking. And yeah, it was fun. So it's not like what you guys, excuse me, it's not what you guys think. It was.
It's not like slipping dollars into my
Yes,
palm
and
on
it wasn't
stage.
like sexual stripping. It was like very fun. They all have their like 50s style hair. She was with other girls. And yes, but
very
I do understand how that sounds, and we might have to edit that out. The last thing that ends this episode, which you guys are all on the edge of your seat about, is what about them damn holes?
Or on the edge of the hole about.
On the edge of that hole about. What are they? Well, Elvis comes back fully ready
So
to be
dead of
taken.
night.
Dead
Dead
of
of
night.
night.
He comes back to be fully taken. And you think in UFO, you see these lights and these noises, and he's like, they're taking me. Guess what it is, guys?
Welcome. Welcome. It's a bulldozer.
A landscape company's been stealing sand for a golf course they're building. The high tides washed away their tracks. Pretty clever, huh?
You mean they're not from outer space?
Well, sort of. They're from LA. Sorry, Al.
And that was like the big fegging mystery.
Yeah. So it wasn't aliens after all, but Pacific Blue doesn't want to leave us without a hint of like mysticism or mystery. So after the tractor pulls away, the camera pans up to the sky. You see something lit like shoot across the sky, and then you hear that.
Yeah, it's leaving you like, don't. This was in the era of freaking X-Files. People were loving.
Oh, for sure. Yeah, I didn't think about that,
Extraterrestrials.
but yeah.
So it was like a big thing.
1996.
And yeah, that's the end of the episode. So we literally had 3 different storylines. Well, technically 4 different storylines if you want to
Right.
count Chris with her air condition breaking. Because we
Right.
have stripper robbers, we have the holes, we obviously have our main storyline, which is Candy Love being attacked by Jordan, the bad guy, and then we have Chris's air conditioning break.
The tension between the 4-wheelers and the 2-wheelers.
Oh, that's in every episode. That is
just-
what life
it's
is.
packed tight.
If you are a Pacific Blue fan, if you love bikes, if you love helmets, if you love cops, please tell us what episode that we like have to watch and do.
Yes.
Because we want to make sure we do not miss that one. All right, guys, thanks so much for joining us. And if you want, we have an Instagram where like we post some of the pictures and videos from this. All right, guys, until next time.
Bye. So then Amy Poehler's like, yeah, I was at a party where Jason Momoa and Lisa Bonet were there together, and I just followed them around for like 2 hours, like making it as clear as possible that I would be a third if they asked me.
That's why I love Amy Poehler right there, because
She was like, listen, you can't just come out and say I'll be your third, But you do have the opportunity to like make it very clear that should it come up, you are willing.
Just walking around, just nonstop poking around, being like,
she
hey,
was like,
hey.
I just followed them around the party, and I was like, she is right up my alley. She's got my skills.
Well, not only that, they're so cool. Like, I feel like they're too cool for me too. So not only do I want to be in between them, I want to be like really good friends with them because I feel like they're so cool.
And kind of like impress them a little bit.
Yes, I would be totally that guy that was trying to impress. I would just be like, oh yeah, I ride bikes too. I got a new bike. You know the motorcycles that you like, Jason? Oh, and I've got a bag too.
Love those motorbikes. Love them.
I love the motorbikes. I love leather. I love wearing pink suits. I love long hair. I grew my hair out
scrunchies.
too.
Yeah, I think I would get well, actually, I was going to say borderline obnoxious, but no, there's no borderline. It would be straight up obnoxious.
We have just a little strange relationship.
You were scoping me out.
Gross, Katie. Stop. You're so nasty. I hate it. People are really going to start. It's like.
Set it up every time, though.
You
set it up every time.
We could just talk about. Let's just make this the Jason Momoa podcast.
I was just gonna.
Let's just talk about him for like all day. Forget about elite bike cops.
What if we have a side podcast? Guys, tell us what you think. Called the J-Cast. And all we do is give updates about Jason Momoa.
J-Mo with K and Co.
Yeah!
And all we do is talk about Jason Momoa and how we love him. And every day is just...
Give us some feedback.
You just name a word and we'll just incorporate Jason Momoa into it.
We could do that so easily. Someone would be like cereal and be like, oh my God, cereal is so crunchy and satisfying. And every time I watch Jason Momoa crunch those aluminum cans of water on Instagram, it quenches his thirst and I get just as thirsty. Oh man, we could do it in a heartbeat. Yeah, they're trying desperately to get information. They're like, can you please describe these people? Can you please give us any sense of what they looked like? Da 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 da. How you doing with that water, bud?
Oh, I'm staying a little hydrated. Can you just hear me gulping?
Chuggy.
You guys, I love chugging water. I chug so much water at night too, all at night.
And
well, during the
pee all
day.
night?
Well, no, I don't. Like I don't know. My body has gotten used to it, and now I literally would subconsciously wake up in the middle of the night and chug. I mean, Alex sees it. Like sometimes it's 4 or 5 liters of water. 4 or 5 liters, not that much.
Liters, Jesus.
Just really get it. How much is this? Okay, this is 1 quart. So
You're just up for an hour.
I drink about 3
You're
quarts,
4.
maybe 3 quarts. Excuse me.
How you doing?
I totally just burped because I've been drinking a little soda. Oh, excuse me. So, we'll edit that out.